Some say that a car is just a machine, a collection of nuts, bolts, and sheet metal designed to get you from point A to point B. They are, of course, completely and utterly wrong. A car is a companion, a friend, a repository of memories. And so it was on February 18, 2022, that I found myself in a rather emotional state. I was saying goodbye to my 2012 Chevrolet Silverado. It wasn't just any truck. It was a bright, unapologetically red beast. For a decade, this Silverado had been my steadfast partner in crime, a reliable workhorse that had seen it all. It had hauled, it had towed, it had been a mobile office and a sanctuary. It was, in short, brilliant. The final drive was a solemn affair. Every rumble of the V8 engine, a sound I had come to know as well as my own heartbeat, now felt like a final, poignant chord in a long-running symphony. I ran my hand over the dashboard, the slightly worn leather of the steering wheel feeling familiar and comforting under my palm. This truck had witnessed a decade of life unfolding. It had been there for triumphant job completions and long, quiet drives home after a hard day's work. The paint, still gleaming under the winter sun, held the reflections of countless journeys. It was more than just letting go of a vehicle. It was closing a chapter, a significant one at that. I gave it one last wash, a final act of care for my loyal companion. The water cascaded over the red paint, a color as bold as the truck's character. I polished the chrome until it shone, ensuring it looked its absolute best for its next owner. It was a strange feeling, preparing it for someone else, like dressing your best friend for a party you weren't invited to. This truck had character, it had soul. It wasn't just a Silverado, it was my Silverado, a proper machine, built for proper work, and it had never once let me down. Letting go was, to put it mildly, a bit of a gut punch. As the new owner drove it away, I stood there, watching until the red behemoth disappeared around the corner. A strange silence descended upon the driveway, a space that for 10 years had been occupied by that magnificent machine. It was the end of an era. The red truck was gone, leaving behind a void and a mountain of memories. It had been a brilliant, brilliant truck, but, as one chapter ends, another, hopefully with an even bigger and better engine, is poised to begin. The garage felt empty, but not for long. The anticipation for what was to come was a small, but growing spark. The very next day, February 19, 2022, the melancholy was shattered by the arrival of a new Titan. This was not just a replacement, it was an upgrade of epic proportions. A brand new 2022 GMC Sierra 1500, cloaked in a menacing shade of onyx black. If the Silverado was a trusty farm dog, this Sierra was a panther. It was sleek, modern, and bristling with technology that would make a spaceship blush. The sheer presence of it was staggering. It stood taller, wider, and with an aggressive front grille that looked like it wanted to devour the road ahead. The feeling of loss for the old red truck was instantly replaced by pure, unadulterated excitement. Climbing inside was like stepping into the future. The interior was a symphony of leather, chrome, and gigantic screens. The old truck's charmingly simple cabin was gone, replaced by a command center. The digital instrument cluster lit up with a dazzling display, and the enormous central touchscreen beckoned with endless menus and options. It had more gadgets than a spy's briefcase. The smell was intoxicating, that perfect new car smell, a blend of fresh leather and factory plastics. It was the smell of power, of potential, of many, many miles of glorious driving ahead. This was a serious piece of kit. The real magic happened when I pressed the start button. The engine roared to life, not with a familiar rumble, but with a deep, sophisticated growl that promised immense power. This was progress. This was evolution. Driving it off the lot was a revelation. The ride was smoother, the cabin was quieter, and the power delivery was instantaneous and immense. It felt less like a truck and more like a luxury barge that could tow a small house. The transition was complete. The ghost of the red Silverado had been exorcised by the sheer, overwhelming brilliance of the black Sierra. This was not just a new truck, it was a statement. That first day was spent simply exploring. Driving aimlessly, testing the acceleration, fiddling with every button, and just soaking in the experience. The black paint job seemed to absorb the light, giving it a powerful, almost sinister look that was utterly captivating. It turned heads everywhere it went. People would stare, point, and nod in appreciation. I felt like the king of the road, piloting a machine that was the pinnacle of modern truck engineering. The red truck had been a faithful friend, but this new black Sierra, this was a whole new level of automotive excellence. It was, in a word, spectacular. Fast forward a few months to June 30th, 2022. It was now Violet G's turn to navigate the emotional waters of a car farewell. Her vehicle was a 2012 Chevrolet Tahoe LTZ, a black behemoth that had served as the family's chariot for a decade. This wasn't just an SUV, it was a mobile fortress, a rolling living room that had safely transported children, pets, and an astronomical amount of shopping. It was a vessel of family life, its interior holding the faint echoes of laughter, arguments, and 1,000 "are we there yets?" It had been dependable, spacious, and an integral part of their daily existence. Saying goodbye to the Tahoe was like saying goodbye to a family home. Violet took a moment to sit in the driver's seat one last time, the worn leather conforming to her shape perfectly. She remembered road trips, school runs, and drives to the airport, each journey etched into the vehicle's history. The sheer size of it had always been a source of comfort, a feeling of safety and command on the road. It had been a silent, steadfast guardian for her family. Now, its time with them was over. It was a bittersweet moment, filled with gratitude for its years of loyal service and the quiet sadness of parting with a trusted friend. But the day was not just about endings, it was also about a bold new beginning. On that very same day, the Tahoe was replaced by something quite different, a vibrant red 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. The contrast was immediate and striking. Gone was the black boxy SUV, and in its place was a sleek, modern crossover with flowing lines and a color that popped. It represented a shift in philosophy, from a large truck-based utility vehicle to a more refined, comfortable, and efficient family hauler. The excitement of a new car, with all its modern features and that wonderful new car smell, was a powerful antidote to the sadness of the farewell. Violet's first drive in the Pathfinder was a completely different experience. It felt lighter, more agile, and significantly more modern. The cabin was a technological leap forward, with a panoramic sunroof that bathed the interior in light, and a suite of driver aids that made the old Tahoe feel positively archaic. The red paint seemed to radiate energy and optimism. It was a car for a new phase of life. While the Tahoe would always hold a special place in her heart as the ultimate family workhorse, this new red Pathfinder was exciting. It was stylish, comfortable, and promised a new kind of driving adventure. The transition was swift, but exhilarating. Life, much like the automotive world, can be unpredictable. The red Nissan Pathfinder, which had arrived with such fanfare, turned out to be a rather brief chapter in Violet's driving story. It was a perfectly good car, mind you. It was stylish, comfortable, and that red was certainly eye-catching. However, sometimes a car just doesn't quite click. It doesn't connect with you on that deeper level. It does the job, but it doesn't spark joy. And so, after less than a year, the search began for a vehicle that would be a more perfect fit for the family's needs and desires. The Pathfinder's days were numbered. The anticipation began to build for what would come next. After much research and countless test drives, a decision was made. The replacement would be a 2023 Hyundai Palisade. As April 7, 2023 approached, the excitement was palpable. This wasn't just another car swap. It was a carefully considered move towards what promised to be the ultimate family SUV. The Pathfinder was cleaned and prepped for its departure, a final, respectful gesture for its service, however brief. It was a good car, but the promise of the Palisade loomed large, overshadowing the red crossover's presence in the driveway. On the day of the swap, Violet took her final drive in the Pathfinder. It felt different, knowing it was the last time. She acknowledged its smooth ride and modern features, but there was no sense of loss. Instead, there was a burgeoning excitement for what lay ahead. The moment she laid eyes on the silver 2023 Hyundai Palisade, she knew they had made the right choice. It was stunning. The Palisade had a presence that was both elegant and commanding, a design that looked far more expensive than it was. It radiated a sense of quiet luxury and supreme confidence. It was, in a word, magnificent. Sliding into the driver's seat of the Palisade was a world away from both the Tahoe and the Pathfinder. The interior was a masterclass in design and material quality. It felt like a premium German SUV with quilted leather seats, a sweeping digital cockpit, and an airy, spacious cabin. The first drive was transformative. It was supremely quiet, astonishingly comfortable, and packed with intuitive technology. This was it. This was the car. The journey through the Silverado, Sierra, Tahoe, and Pathfinder had led them to this. A new beginning, a perfect fit, and the start of what was sure to be many years of happy, luxurious, and supremely comfortable family journeys. The Palisade had arrived,